Preacher Boy Sammie's music is so powerful, it can summon spirits, and that's exactly why the vampire Remmick hunts him. In Sinners, Sammie's blues guitar holds the ancient magic of West African griots, storytellers whose songs bridge life and death. When Sammie plays, the past and future collide. Rock guitarists, hip-hop dancers, and even masked Zaouli spirits join the party. But Remmick, a lonely Irish vampire, craves that power to resurrect his lost kin. Their chilling showdown at the Juke joint, owned by the Smokestack twins, is a battle of souls. Sammie's music versus Remmick's hunger. Why does the vampire baptize Sammie in blood? Can a griot's song truly trap the dead? And what happens when evil wants your gift? To get the answers, watch this fascinating story in the latest episode on Timbuktu Tales. If you love such deep lore, supernatural battles, and untold African legends, hit the subscribe button.
Some of the most chilling scenes in the movie, Sinners, occur in the exchanges between the vampire Remmick and Preacher Boy Sammie. In one instance, Remmick stands at the entrance of the Juke joint, which is blocked by, among others, Storm, Annie, and Delta Slim. Preacher Boy Sammie asks the vampire, "You're the devil, aren't you?" Without blinking, Remmick stares straight at Preacher Boy and declares, "Sammie, you're the one I came for. I sensed you. I want to see my people again. I'm trapped here, but your gifts can bring them to me." The gifts Remmick speaks of is the ability to conjure spirits through music, which Preacher Boy Sammie is said to possess due to his heritage as a griot. Remmick and his vampires attack the Juke joint to take possession of these powers. Remmick doesn't stop there. After he and his vampires cause havoc at the party at the Juke joint, but Preacher Boy escapes, he chases after and eventually catches Sammie at a pond behind the doomed venue. The totally terrified boy tries to chant the Lord's Prayer as if to ward off evil, but this has little effect on the vampire. As Sammie recites, "Our Father who art in heaven," Remmick joins in, as do the other vampires, approaching. Remmick states that the prayer brings him comfort, despite his hatred for the English who invaded his homeland centuries ago, suggesting his ancient Irish origins. The vampire then repeatedly dips the boy into the pond, as if baptizing him. All the while, he invites Sammie to join his family of vampires. Remmick holds Sammie's cheeks with a hand so devilishly hot that his fingers give Sammie a signature scar that lasts his entire life. The boy is petrified as he tightly holds onto his guitar while staring right at death. Remmick looks straight into Sammie's eyes, as if staring right into his soul, and says, "I want your stories, and I want your songs. Give them to me now." Have you wondered what makes Sammie's stories and music so powerful that Remmick senses them from so far away? What makes them so powerful that they can conjure spirits to help Remmick reconnect with his long-dead loved ones and ancestors? Well, the answer to these questions partly lies in the fact that Sammie is described to be a griot. If so, then, who are the griots? What power do their stories and songs hold? To answer all these, let's dig into 5 questions about griots, the ancient West African storytellers and musicians whom director Ryan Coogler used for inspiration when developing the layered character of Preacher Boy Sammie. 1. Who is a griot? A griot is a hereditary musician and storyteller among the Manda people of West Africa. Griots narrate, sing, and orate while playing a variety of instruments, mainly the kora, which has 21 strings, and the balafon, which is a percussion instrument comprising of gourds and strips of wood. Griots serve as the principal custodians of Mande history and culture across these nations. The Djelis traditionally also has many other important ritual and social functions. A Djeli acts as a go-between during disputes, as a confidential advisor on many matters ranging from business to marriage, and as a public spokesperson. Their music is the backdrop to occasions such as weddings, child naming ceremonies, religious festivities, national holidays, and, in the modern world, even political rallies. The tradition of griots is not isolated to Manda peoples. Other ethnicities in West Africa also have people who play similar roles as a griots. These include Guvels among the Wolof, Jessere among the Songhai, and Maroki among the Hausas. Originally known as Djelis, griots comprise one of the oldest living traditions in the world. It is believed that griots emerged in early societies across the vastness of the Mande-speaking region. However, their place as a social and political pillar got cemented at the dawn of the Mali Empire in the 12th century. Bala Faseke, a griot who served the empire's founder Sunjata Keita, is considered the first griot in history. The institution he established remains a key feature for the roughly 40 million Manda peoples speaking more than 60 closely related languages scattered across several West African countries. These include Mali, Senegal, the Gambia, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, the Ivory Coast, and Guinea. 2. How does one become a griot? Griots are born into their role as musicians and storytellers. They come from families which are part of the Nyamakalau caste. These castes form a layer of specialized groups that includes griots, blacksmiths, and leatherworkers, tasked with handling Nyama, which is a mystical force, for the benefit of society. A particular family of Djelis would remain for generations with a noble, known as Foro in Mandinka, family for generations, and thus acquire detailed knowledge of their genealogy and history. They memorize genealogies, historical events, and cultural traditions. They then pass down this knowledge from one generation to the next through songs, stories, and recitations. Griot families traditionally marry within their caste, preserving their roles and skills. The stories, skills, and instruments they have are therefore passed from one generation to the next, in a tradition that has been going on now for more than 800 years. Today, across West Africa, there exists 5 major griot families, which are the Kouyaté clan. The Kouyatés are considered the foundational griot family and trace their origin to Bala Faseke, the first griot. They are widely respected for their role in preserving Manda history and genealogies. Among their ranks is the legendary Bala Kouyaté, who is famous for his balafon playing and singing skills. The Diabaté clan, the Diabatés, most prominent in Mali and Guinea, are known for producing skilled musicians and storytellers, particularly kora players like Toumani and Mamadou Diabaté. The Sissoko clan. The Sissokos comprise a major griot lineage known for its expertise in kora playing and oral traditions. This family has produced influential griots like Balake Sissoko, who is one of the most innovative and collaborative living griots. The Suso clan. The Suso family is another key griot lineage, particularly among the Mandinka in Senegal and the Gambia. Famous for their storytelling abilities, one of their most prominent was Bamba Suso. Born in the 1900s, he performed with clarity and authority traditional songs like Kelefaba and Kuruntu Kelefa, which recount the history of the Mali Empire. Jobate clan. The Jobate family is a distinguished griot lineage, especially in the Gambia, known for its mastery of the kora and storytelling. Amadou Bansang Jobate was a master griot. His granddaughter, Sona Jobate, is a modern-day kora virtuoso who tours widely and also visionary behind the Gambia Academy. It is typical, traditionally, for griots to start their story by first declaring their lineages. This declaration of lineage is both a source of pride and also meant to establish their credibility and authority to speak on whatever topic is ahead of them. For example, when Bamba Suso starts narrating the story of Sunjata Keita, probably the most important Mande stories as it speaks about the founder of the Mali Empire, he starts as follows.
It is I, Bamba Suso, who am talking. Along with Amadou Diabate, it is Amadou Diabate who is playing the kora. And it is I, Bamba Suso, who am doing the talking. Our home is at Sotuma. That is where we both were born. This tune that I am now playing is the strange and wonderful story of Sunjata. I learned it from my father, and he learned it from our grandfather, Koryang Musa. All right, I am now going to tell you the story of Sunjata, and you must pay attention.
With that done, the griot establishes command of his audience and proceeds to do the narration. Similarly, preacher Boy Sammie cites his Mississippi origins in his blues songs like I Lied to You. This heritage, rooted in the rural South, specifically in the Mississippi Delta, shapes his music's themes, styles, and emotional core. That, naturally, leads to the next question. 3. How is preacher Boy Sammie connected to griots? Is it possible that preacher Boy Sammie traces his lineage to one or more of these ancient African musical lineages? Is he a griot? I am inclined to say yes. Preacher Boy Sammie and the Smokestack twins are first cousins. In the last conversation between Smoke and Sammie, it is revealed that the guitar Sammie holds belonged to his uncle and the father of the Smokestack twins, who was a gifted musician. This means that a rich musical heritage flows in his bloodline. Further, Sammie's ancient musical heritage is detailed when he speaks with Delta Slim, an older blues musician who plays the harmonica. Majority of African Americans trace their lineage to West Africa, which Delta Slim calls home. Speaking to Sammie, Delta Slim explains that the music the young man sings comes from ancient West African traditions. He says, "The blues wasn't forced on us like the religion. We brought this from home." When Preacher Boy asks, "From day Mississippi Delta?" Delta Slim responds by saying, "Nah, Preacher Boy, from Africa, da motherland." This blues sound music he plays ultimately traces its origins to West African musical traditions. Sammie is therefore a born griot. He is a successor of the enduring musical tradition. And in the mythology of sinners, as narrated by Annie, griots are among a group of people so gifted that their music can pierce the veil between life and death. In doing so, they can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This ability is showcased in a surreal segment of the film where Preacher Boy passionately Sammie sings I Lied to You. As he plays the guitar and sings, the party at the Juke joint breaches the barriers between space and time. People representing various forms of black music come together in one big communion as the entire place goes up in flames. A rock guitarist who strongly resembles Bluesman Isaac Hayes comes forth and plays an epic solo. We even see hip-hop dances of different generations, from breakdancers to crip walkers shuffling their feet alongside others. We see musicians of undoubtedly African origin jumping in. A dreadlocked Djembe drummer passes by as if in his natural environment. A fully masked Zaouli dancer makes quick footwork and raises his head as if in a trance. Then, in a very quick shot, we see an old man wearing a cap featuring cowrie shells come forth. The old man is playing a small stringed instrument. This man, without a doubt, is a griot, and the instrument he is holding is the Simbingo. The Simbingo is a small harp, the oldest form of the kora that the griots of West Africa play. That man and the instrument he plays is the key to unlocking how Sammie in Sinners is capable of breaching the line between the living and the dead. This brings us to our next question. 4. How is it possible for a griot to conjure the spirits? The earliest griots emerged in pre-Islamic Mande societies where ancestral spirits were believed to intervene in human affairs, including helping them make musical instruments such as a Simbingo. This belief was carried over to the Islamic era when griots started playing the kora, which is believed to have been made by jinns. The idea that griots can summon spirits is partly based on the mythology of the kora and the balafon, the main instruments that the griots use. The old man in the Sinners is seen in the Simbingo, an earlier version of the kora. Both the kora and the balafon are believed to have been made by Sumanguru Kante, a sorcerer king and Sunjata Keita's main rival, with the help of spiritual beings. It is believed that Sumanguru Kante's sister, Kosia, sacrificed herself to the jinns, who in turn revealed to Sumanguru how to make the magical instruments. Griots typically trace the lineage of the instruments they play to these mythical origins. When Bamasuso narrates the tale of Sunjata Keita while his cousin Amadou Diabate plays the kora, he says,
Our grandfather, Koryang Musa, yes, that Koryang Musa, went to Sanimentereng and spent a week there. He met the jinns there at Sanimentereng and brought back a kora. That was the very first kora. As everyone knows, the very first kora was like a Simbingo. Yes, the kora came from the jinns.
As it is well known, jinns have the power to grant supernatural wishes. It's therefore presumed that those people who are of griot bloodlines, such as Sammie, have the ability to do supernatural things through their music, including conjuring spirits. Ryan Coogler probably plays with this idea to give Sammie his superb abilities. This, at least in the Sinners universe, gives musicians like Sammie the power to pull spirits, both good and bad, in what leads us to our fifth and final question. 5. What does Remmick want to do with Sammie's powers? In the opening chapter of Sinners, the voice of Annie ushers us into the surrealist story by saying, "There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true. It can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future. In ancient Ireland, they were called Fili. In Choctaw land, they called them fire keepers. And in West Africa, they're called griots." In the closing line of that opening monologue, Annie says that because of their ability to conjure spirits, griots can bring healing to their communities, but also attracts evil. The healing power of his music is seen by the way the people are dancing in great joy as he sings an epic blues tune while playing the guitar. It is an assembly of great joy that creates the surreal experience. We see the old and new intermingling, future rock guitarists and hip-hop breakdancers sharing the stage with ancient kora players and Zaouli dancers. As the scene is set in the 1930s, true to Annie's words, Sammie's musical powers pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future of blues music. Pulled in by Sammie's singing, the spirits of the ancient originators of blues come to fellowship with the future descendants of the blues, ranging from rock to soul to rap. Yet, and also true to Annie's words, this great musical power also attracts evil. By the time Sammie is done singing, Remmick and the vampires have shown up at the party and want a piece of the action. Remmick stands at the entrance and says to the preacher boy, "Sammie, you're the one I came for. I sensed you. I want to see my people again. I'm trapped here, but your gifts can bring them to me." By the time the attack in Sinners happens, Remmick has been living as an undead vampire for hundreds of years. His old relatives and friends are long dead and buried in Ireland. He is therefore in the 1930s Mississippi, in both a foreign place and time. Remmick needs to fellowship with the spirits of his people, just like how Sammie fellowships with his people at the Juke joint. He wants to be together with his people forever. Remmick sees in Sammie the ability to conjure the spirits of dead Irish people and party with them. But to achieve this, he has to first make Sammie a vampire. Of course, he has to first unalive him. This is not something that Sammie wants, and neither do the other people at the Juke joint. Remmick then tries to rationalize with them, saying, "You'll give him to me now. Just give me little Sammie, and we will let the rest of you live." Delta Slim talks back at him and says, "You can't have him. He belongs to us. He belongs with us." Smoke adds, "And I won't let that happen." Remmick sees that the only way to achieve his ends is through violence. So he decides to attack. Right before attacking the Juke joint, to further express his strong desire to reconnect with his long-dead friends and family, Remmick leads his army of vampires singing "Rocky Road to Dublin," an Irish folk song. The vampires cause rampage. Delta Slim eventually sacrifices himself to give Sammie more time to escape. After he and his vampires destroy the party at the Juke joint, he chases after and eventually catches Sammie at the pond. Remmick offers Sammie vampirism, promising immortality, freedom from racism, and a chance to join his family. Right before he bites Sammie to convert him into a vampire, Smoke drives a wooden stake right through Remmick's heart, killing him instantly. Smoke, therefore, saves Sammie's life. Smoke, as he goes off to the final battle and his death, urges Preacher Boy Sammie to bury the guitar and stop his musical ambitions. But Sammie is born a griot. He cannot stop the music. And so, as he goes away from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and chases musical dreams in the big cities such as Chicago, he achieves a long and successful career that spans decades, eventually becoming known as a legend of blues music. One has to wonder, though, what kinds of music would Preacher Boy Sammie have sung had he been made into a vampire? As Kanye West once famously put it, "I guess we'll never know."
Thank you for watching this episode of Timbuktu Tales. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Preacher Boy Sammie's connections to the griots of West Africa, then you will love more of our stories based on the Sinners movie. Click on the next video to watch the African inspirations behind the Smokestack Twins. You have any thoughts about it, share them in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to get updates on new episodes every week from Timbuktu Tales.